Hi everyone, I'm Chris from the technical product marketing team, and today I'm going to be demonstrating an integration flow for lead capture. In this demo, we're going to be syncing attendee information to Clearbit for enrichment and then to HubSpot for follow-up. So first, let's look at this eventee export. The goal here is to get all relevant information from eventee on each attendee, including the name, company, and phone number. First, we're going to want to make sure that we've appropriately named our export step and that the connection's up and running. Next, the HTTP method we're going to be using is get, and our relative URI will be set to participants so we can gather attendee information. Next, we're going to create a step in which we can separate the name into first name and last name field, which will be created using a script in the transformation, and that'll allow for easier mapping in later steps in the flow when we're adding the lead to our marketing automation tool. Now let's look at Clearbit. So before this attendee information is entered into a source of truth, like a marketing automation platform, we want to make sure that it's enriched first so that we have a full, up-to-date, and accurate view of all the leads information, like their name, address, phone number, and company. And we're going to do that through Clearbit. So in this step, we want to create a lookup to gather enriched data on each attendee, and we want to make sure that this lookup step is named appropriately again, and that our connection is up and running. So the resource will be set to person. The API endpoint is set to the enrichment API. It's also important here to set the query parameters to search for the emails gathered from eventee so that we can have accurate data on each lead and that it's the correct attendee that we're searching for. And lastly, we want to set up the results mapping to store all of this enriched lead data, which will be stored in a field called My Field. The final step will be importing these now enriched leads to HubSpot so they can be segmented, scored, and ultimately followed up with. For the final import, we're once again going to double check on our HubSpot import to see that it's correctly named as well as the connection is up and running. For this step, we're going to make sure that we have the correct and newest API version, as well as the right API operation so we can create a lead. For this, we're going to use the operation create as well as the API name CRM API context. Next, we're going to make sure that we ignore existing records so we avoid creating potential duplicates. And then in the mapping, we want to take all of the enriched data from Clearbit in order to create a lead in HubSpot, which will include the email, first name, last name, LinkedIn URL, city and state, as well as job title and company. And we'll also want to map over the Clearbit ID into a custom field in HubSpot. It's also important to note that we want to hard code the lifecycle stage to lead so that the attendee will be created as a lead and not a contact. So I hope this was helpful. As you can see, by streamlining and automating this process, we're able to turn a previously manual and really tedious lead capture and upload process into a competitive advantage for your marketing and revenue operations team.